towards the end of our reproductive years, we tend to go through certain body changes, which each one of us, the ladies, needs to know, such that when they come, you can distinguish between what is normal and what is abnormal. Yes. Of course, throughout our lives, at one time we are children, at the other moment we are adolescents, we join our reproductive age, and then after that, the reproductive age comes to an end, yeah? We cross over to menopause, yeah? And then live in menopause thereafter, yeah? Today, basically, I want us to understand some of the things that changes to expect at menopause, yeah? The normal changes. Some people join menopause earlier. It's usually 45 to 55 years, yeah, for an average individual. Though some people may reach earlier, or some people may reach later, or some people may undergo things like some surgeries, yeah, like surgeries where the ovaries are removed. You'll experience menopause signs earlier than any other person. And what are some of the things that come up at menopause that we need to know? Yeah, I'll give them in three categories. Yeah, and I want us to keep them at mind. Yeah, so of course some are reproductive. We shall see some reproductive changes, our reproductive system. Yeah? Then we may see some physical changes, and then psychological changes. Yeah, and just to show you more of the reproductive changes. One, usually because one of the very important hormones in our bodies, estrogen, is down, which usually maintains the whole system. Yeah, it's one that helps us to get menstruation. It's one that it does a lot of roles down there. So when it's down, generally, of course, it will start reproductive wise. You'll observe that your menses will become, first of all, they will be scanty. They will be less and irregular until a point when it ceases, like it stops completely. Yeah. And if you last for, if you go on for 12 months without menses, that's when we can conclude now that you're now in real, yeah, you've now started real menopause. So these changes, if they are occurring towards menopause, they are normal. Yeah. Yeah. And then in case you start experiencing excessive bleeding during menopause, that is something different now. You need to move to the hospital. Like, we expect things to be going down. If in your case the bleeding is just increasing, and even like more days, you're spending more days, you need now to visit a health facility, because there are some malignancies or cancers that bring that. Yeah. Then vaginal lubrication will go down. We expect dryness, which is normal. Then in case you're base, yeah, in case you're base, by time of menopause, we have a very high risk of cancers of our reproductive organs. Yeah, we have a high risk of developing those cancers. That's why we are advised to regulate our weight as early as possible, such that we don't reach that stage with excess weight. Yeah. Yeah. Then also there are chances of being, getting these recurrent UTIs, because all our systems, the protection is going down. Yeah. So we need to keep all this in mind. Yeah. And yeah. Then moving ahead to some of the physical changes that you experience, which are normal. One, you may start experiencing excessive heat and sweating. Yeah. Like out of the blue, you feel just a quick, very hot, kind of a flash, and then sweating, and then it disappears like that. That is normal. And for mild cases, of course, uh, you're advised to, use these normal cooling mechanisms, yeah, like a fan, maybe a cold bath, or yeah. It's also common to have night sweats, like excessively sweating at night. So that is normal. Then the other physical change or physical thing that you may observe is bones. Of course, this one is common in old age for both males and females. Yeah, bones, like our bones become weak. It's easy to start experiencing back pain. Yeah, it's easy to get fractures. That's why we are advised that when we reach, if you cross over to menopause, we are advised one to in our food, daily diet. Make sure that in each meal you have, there is a calcium containing food. And of course, these calcium containing foods, we have the fish, the milk products, the green vegetables. They should be part of your daily diet. Yeah. And of course, this helps us with the bones. Yeah. And then also, it's advisable to you know, do this general simple physical exercise like walking around or jogging, it helps a bit. Then also, uh, it's because of the bones, that's why it's advisable to quit things like alcohol. Because now with alcohol, you become very vulnerable to falls, to what comes with alcohol. You easily fall, you easily maybe get involved in scuffles, and you can easily get fractured, or your bones can easily break. Like when you are old, bones easily break and they are hard to heal. Actually, most people whose bones break become sick, like there's prolonged sickness because they are not easy to heal in old age. So we need to keep in these measures to mind and apply them for a healthy and quality time even after menopause. Then the other physical thing that may come up usually during that time, we have in our body that hormone estrogen as females that does multiple things. Now after menopause, it is down, and some of the things it does, it protects us against heart problems. Yeah. Now when it's down, of course, we are at increased risk of heart problems. So still, that's why in relation to the heart, yeah, that's why it's advisable by the time we reach menopause, have a healthy weight. Yeah, that can help. Then in our diet, daily diet, avoid the cholesterol foods. Yeah, those fatty foods, avoid them because they are just adding cholesterol, which we have no estrogen to help us, with it. So avoid the cholesterol foods, maintain a health diet. The other simple physical exercise, do it. All these things, yeah, they can be of help. Yeah, basically those are some of the physical signs that are common that most of us will experience. Yeah. So, and then some of the psychological problems, things of the mind that we may experience during that time. Of course, sleep problems. There are a lot of problems with sleep because one, the night, night sweating and all this. So of course, one, you of course cooling mechanisms. You just make sure you have maybe a standard, sleeping routine. When you have a sleeping routine, when maybe at this time I must sleep, at this time I wake up, not changing. You put a standard time of maybe sleeping and waking. Usually these sleep disturbances are lessened, or lack of sleep is lessened when at this time I should be sleeping at the other time. But when you keep, maybe today you sleep at 8, the other day you sleep at 10, the other day you sleep at 1, it worsens the problem. Yeah. And then maybe sleep hygiene. If you can practice sleep hygiene, it also helps with sleep. Yeah. And the cooling. Then the other thing is usually our moods. When we reach our menopause time, our moods easily change. We can easily get annoyed. We are easily annoyed, and that is normal. So it's just a matter of keeping it in mind and being around loving people. Yeah. Because some of these things are unavoidable. Being around loving people who will be able to understand you when that time comes, when maybe you're just irritable, all these things. Sometimes also anxiety comes in, depression, but all these things are solved by having a proper support system. Yeah. So with a proper support system, at least you're assured anxiety, depression, things of that sort, they will be less. Yeah, surely they will be less. Then maybe lastly, but not least, dementia is very common. Yeah, or loss of memory and inability. It's hard to concentrate. Maybe reading, what, all these things. Some of these things are just natural progression of our bodies. Yeah. So basically, those are the ones we've seen the changes that will occur with our reproductive, system and what we can do. We've seen the changes that will occur physically and the measures to take and things that will occur psychologically. when these things sometimes these things may come in severe forms where it's hard to just use these simple minor tips. So in such cases, it's advisable. For example, if you're having excessive sweating that is so discomforting, or maybe you're having this vaginal dryness that is overly affecting your sexual health, maybe you're having, like these things, if you become very uncomfortable, yeah, if they destabilize your day-to-day activities, it's advisable that you visit a health, you know, you visit a hospital, because usually other than the tips, there's medication for all these things. However, it's given after full assessment, because some of this medication is not good for everyone. It has its risks, but with proper assessment, usually the healthcare professional can know if it's safe for you, and then they can recommend it. Because most of these medications are hormones. Just like I said in the beginning, all these things are coming up because certain hormones have gone down. But again, you have to qualify for these hormones. They are not for everyone. Otherwise, they come with a lot of very many side effects. Yeah. Otherwise, that's my comment on menopause. If you're in menopause, some of these things are normal. And yeah, I hope you know now what to do in case of all these things.